Oh my god, this episode is amazing. Welcome to Ranger Reviews, a web series we look at episodes of the TV show Power Rangers and then discuss them. Today we're exploring the 19th episode of the show Power Rangers in Space, as well as the 269th episode overall, titled Invasion of the Body Switcher. We begin this episode out in the park where it's apparently Ashley's birthday. She blows out her candles and she explains that she can't tell what she wished for, and Cassie says that she can guess, and they look at Andros. Everyone on this show is horny AF. Also, Carlos gave her a fire extinguisher. She brings cake over to Andros and explains that they don't celebrate birthdays on KO35, but turns out he did get Ashley something. It's a necklace that she thinks is way prettier than it actually is, since I'm pretty sure this is just a repurposed prop from VR Troopers. It has a rare gem from KO35 in it, and Ashley hugs him, smiling at Cassie. Meanwhile, Dark Spectre is talking to Astronema about how the Rangers are getting way too close to finding Zordon, and he needs time to drain Zordon's powers before they find him. He leaves and Astronema says that she wants to get aboard the megaship. She needs a body switcher for this, and we're introduced to Body Switcher. He shows off his abilities, turning to a bunch of different monsters. Astronema says this is excellent, wanting to become a Power Ranger. He turns her into Ashley, which is fun. At first she has her normal voice, but then she gets Ashley's voice. Time to move out. Back at the park, Ashley's wearing the necklace and talking about how Andros is weird. Then she straight up gets kidnapped and Cassie doesn't even notice for like a solid 10 seconds. Then Ashley comes out, now without her necklace, explaining that her shoelace was untied. Then we see the real Ashley with Quantrons and a clip door, and she gets away and she tries to yell, but Cassie doesn't hear it fully going over there. Astronema Ashley then snaps out some Quantrons, and Cassie runs back over while the real Ashley is abducted. Then Cassie starts actually fighting, only for us to see Astronema Ashley is just like lightly pushing the Quantrons around. This is really good. Then a Quantron actually hits her and she pushes him super far away. Astronema Ashley tells him to go away and Cassie is confused about what that was all about. Astronema Ashley suggests getting back to the megaship. She's then walking around looking for the engine room and Dekka hears her telling her where it is, so she zaps Dekka. She then accidentally runs into Cassie, who needs her help with the Astro Blaster. She asks for the AM scanner and Astronema Ashley is super confused about what this is and she's kind of looking all over, but then Cassie tells her where it is and she takes out her freaking staff. Then we see Astronema Ashley finds Carlos lifting weights and he asks if she will add more weight, and she does by clicking a button, but it's way too much and it's crushing him. She then takes out her staff again. Meanwhile, real Ashley is tied up and the body switcher is showing how he can change himself into anything. Ashley says it'd be really cool if he could change her into anything, and he says that he can, and she says, well. But then, Elgar is in the distance, yelling for Astronema. Then Ashley says that she bets that he can't turn her into Astronema. Then Elgar walks up, surprised by what Body Switcher is doing, freeing Ashley Astronema from her restraints. She then tells Elgar to tie up the Body Switcher. She runs away, and Body Switcher explains what just happened. Astronema Ashley then runs into Alpha, and she gets pissed because she doesn't want him to be near her, I guess. He gives her a birthday present, and Astronema Ashley is super confused opening it. It's a little figurine, and Alpha bops away down the hall. She winds the bottom of the figure, and some music box music plays. She's confused because no one has ever been nice to her before, and then she calls him stupid, throwing the figure away. TJ and Andros are on the bridge, wondering if someone should check something out, so then they try to call Carlos and Cassie, but no answer. TJ says he'll check them out, walking away. He then sees that Dekka got burnt real bad. TJ's walking around calling for Carlos and Ashley, and Astronema Ashley is dragging lifeless bodies around. Then TJ hears Carlos, finding him hurt behind some barrels, and then he goes over there only to be threatened from behind with the staff. Astronema Ashley then comes into the bridge, being very suspicious with Andros, saying that the others are just hanging around, which we then see that Cassie's literally hanging around. Then Andros almost gets zapped, but he's going to look for the others. To distract him, Astronema Ashley makes a video play of a monster attack, but Dekka is like, there's nothing going on Earth. But Astronema Ashley convinces him that they have to go right now. Alpha then comes onto the bridge, confused about where everyone is. Andros then goes down the tube, and Astronema Ashley is confused, going down the yellow one. Red then flips into the scene landing, but of course Astronema Ashley has no idea what to do, so she just crash lands on the ground. Andros is confused because nothing is going on, and Yellow takes out her Astro Blaster, ready to fire, but then Ashley Astronema shows up. Dun dun dun. She tries to convince Andros of the truth, but then her and the Yellow Rangers start fighting. Meanwhile, Alpha is walking around the ship calling for the 3 other Rangers, hearing some muffled yells. He then finds the others all strung up. Andros is then attacking Ashley Astronema, who is trying to convince him that this is all a trick. She then asks the Yellow Ranger what Andros got her for her birthday. She has no idea, but Ashley Astronema knows it was the necklace from KO35. So Andros just shoots the real Astronema. Dude, maybe like clarify first. I feel like they could have gotten some intel. Then the other one is now demorphed, so now there's just two astronomers fighting each other. Cat fight! Ecliptor and Body Switcher are nearby, and they have no idea which is the imposter. Also, the other Rangers run up, and they're also super confused. They have no idea how to tell which is which, but then Andros has an idea. He yells, "Let's rock it!" And only one of them actually knows the morph movement, so she runs over, and Astronomer says that she doesn't want to be a Power Ranger anyway. Body Switcher flies over, and Andros gives the morpher back to Ashley. Let's rock it! The Yellow Ranger is back in action, kicking Body Switcher back. Astronomer then gets back on the ship, and Elgar thinks it's the Yellow Ranger, which is hilarious because he tries to capture her. Ecliptor hits him back, and Astronomer fires the saddle lasers. With the Body Switcher giant, the Rangers call it the Mega Voyager, forming the Megazord. They then fight the monster, but they end up like putting down the saber for some reason. Then they just pull it out again, slashing him in a very samurai style. I have a feeling this was a very different monster in an episode in Japan. They then call out the Mega V3 missile, firing it and blowing up the Body Switcher. Astronomer surmises that the monster was useless anyways, and Elgar says he liked her better the other way, and Astronomer overhears zapping him. On the megaship, the Rangers are taking off their helmets, and Ashley is very afraid to do so because she might still be Astronomer. She then eventually takes off her helmet, and she's Ashley again, so no worries. Cassie guesses that when the monster was destroyed, the effects of the spell must have worn off, which has happened literally every other time. Then Andros just like leaves. Calm down, dude. Ashley then looks at her necklace, saying thanks to Andros who is gone. She looks around. Andros is then just walking away, going to a secret panel and opening a door. He walks into a new room where we hear a heartbeat monitor. He walks over to a glass case frosted with ice, and we see that as monitoring a human body. The end. Okay, feel like that ending came out of absolutely nowhere, but otherwise the episode's like super great. The comedy bits really work. The story bits work really well too. The acting done by Melody Perkins is like top notch. I mean, she had to do scenes as two different characters consistently throughout this entire episode. Kudos to her. Also, what's going on with this human body that's apparently alive? That's pretty intriguing. What a twist it would be that it was actually Andros' sister and he was actually not really looking for her, he was just covering up something weird. But don't worry, it's not that. Next episode, the season changes again. But until then, may the power protect you.